Hi, and welcome to Knitting Step by Step, the video podcast that's been teaching you how to knit. I'm your host, Jason Block.
And I'm your knitting instructor, Ivy Reisner.
And this is episode 8, The Mitten, part 2. In this episode, we'll look at deciding if your thumb gusset is big enough, moving the stitches to scrap yarn, and continuing on along the fingers.
But before we begin, we wanted to wish Bill Block a very happy birthday.
Yes, that is my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. And your birthday is now on the internet worldwide. And there's one other thank you we want to wish and shout out, and that's to you. Because our statistics have increased incredibly. We have passed our 1,000th individual podcast viewer. And without you guys, we would just be sitting around in this apartment doing a knitting video for ourselves. We've been doing it for you guys. And for myself, the camera woman Sharon Halper in the background, and Ivy Reisner, the knitting instructor, we would just like to say thank you very, very much. So, a couple of reminders. The patterns are available on the website, which is knittingstepbystep.com, as well as the links to the Facebook group, the YouTube videos, and our wiki. Lastly, for any hearing impaired viewers out there, we have decided to put scripts episodes 1 through 8, which is this one, on the web page. And from now on, all the scripts will be printed there for your viewing if you need to follow it along by hand, if you miss anything or anything to that effect. So let's get on to the second part of the mitten. What's a gusset?
A gusset is a part of a knitted item that tracks the change in the shape of a part of the body. For a sock, this will happen as the heel decreases, tapers down to the foot of the sock. For the mitten, this happens as your wrist increases upward towards the base of the thumb. And that's what we've been doing with the increases.
So we are going to, in a second, move the thumb stitches onto some scrap yarn, try on our mittens, and start knitting the body of the mitten around. Okay, Ivy, show us how to move stitches to scrap yarn.
Okay, the first thing to keep in mind is that you're going to be knitting the fingers next. So make certain that the working yarn is not coming from one of these thumb stitches. You're going to be knitting a half row to just before the stitch marker and stopping there. Now, for the first set of stitches, what you're going to do is you're going to thread your darning needle, your yarn needle, and you're just going to go along this needle, and you're going to go under the stitches and pick them up. But really you're just threading into each stitch. Make sure you can see it. You're just going into the loop and going through, going.
Now, do you always use a contrasting yarn for this? Or?
Yeah, because that's going to make it easier to see the stitches, to see the yarn later on when you go to make these stitches live.
Okay.
Okay, once you're finished with that for this one, you're going to pop all these stitches off and just let the yarn hold it. You're going to take the stitch holder, put it aside. Now we're going to start on the other side of the thumb stitches. And again, you're just going to go through and pop the stitches off.
Looks simple if you know how.
Yep. First time I tried this, I tried using a regular stitch marker.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work so well because you can't try the mitten on.
Which is what we're going to do in about a second.
Yeah.
A minute or two.
Okay.
Which is also very important because you want to know if it fits as well or not.
Yes. Whenever possible with anything knitted, try it on at every opportunity that you can, at every stage that you can, because it's easier to know that there's a problem as early as possible.
So you're now tying a loop, right?
Yeah, I'm going to tie the thumb stitches closed in a loop. And you want this kind of loose because you want to be able to take it out later. I'm just going to use a regular old shoelaces bow here. And then you're going to try it on.
Okay, so now you've tried this on. See, now it's on your hand like this. Let's say it's cool. You like it. What happens?
You remember how many stitches you've used for your thumb so that you can make the other mitten match.
Which is how many in this particular case?
I have 20.
Okay.
And if you don't like it, then you make these stitches live again and you correct. You can either rip back or you can knit another round. And typically what happens is people undershoot. So almost definitely what's going to happen if you're not happy is you're going to have too few stitches. It's going to fit a little too tightly and you're going to want another round.
Okay, so then we're going to go on. Now you like it. It's cool. You have your 20 stitches. We're going on to the hand part of the mitten, right? Okay. What do we do with that?
Okay, you're going to just start knitting around. And the key thing to remember is the first stitch past the gap that comes from this beginning of the thumb to the end of the thumb has to be knit very tightly because that's what's going to close that gap. And you just knit. And now you're just going to keep knitting around, straight knitting, no increases, just knit everything until the mitten, when tried on, comes just to the tip of your pinky. After that, we're going to tape.
Okay. Next week, or next time, we will finish the mitten by decreasing the top to the mitten, using the Kitchener stitch to close up the top, and picking up stitches and knitting the thumb. For Knitting Step by Step, I'm Jason Block.
And I'm Abby Reisner. Thank you for watching.